Hello, everybody. This is Chuck Wiger. We are getting to the first deadline week for the 2019 legislative session. By deadline, it means for bills to pass the policy committee. We have a couple of more deadlines, a second and a third, for the progression of bills being ideas, proposals. There's over 2,000 of them presented in the Senate and many more in the House. And ultimately, these bills go through a hearing process if they get a hearing, and then go to the floor, and then if they still survive, into a conference committee, and then whether the governor will support it. So there's a lot of ideas, proposals in place, and I've had a number of meetings addressing area concerns as well. But I'd first like to just comment that it was a great celebration I was at in White Bear during the week to celebrate Lake Links for the accomplishments. This is for Lake Links, it's the vision for the trail to go all the way around White Bear Lake, the 10-mile trail. It's been spearheaded by Steve Wolganot and Mike Brooks. Also, Kevin Donovan has been so active, and a number of others on that board of directors. It was a chance to celebrate the many activities that have been going on for a few decades, and I was able to address about 40, 50 people there, potentially more, and it was inspiring to see the testimonials from people as to why they want to see the vision accomplished to go all the way around the lake. And we will get there, whether it's 2021, 2022, we're going to get there. We've got to work out some more details, but with the leadership from Steve, Mike, and others, I know we will. So happy birthday on the milestone for the Lake Links organization. You'll see some more information about them, and please support them in their efforts. Also, on another note, not as happy, is just the continued concern regarding what is the impact on the Water Gremlin emissions, the illegal emissions from the manufacturing process, where an unacceptable level of emission from the TCE chemical, hazardous, dangerous chemical, went into the air, and this has been happening perhaps as long as since 2002. There was a cease and order, and they voluntarily shut down in mid-January, and subsequent to this there has been a settlement. You've probably read about it, and a new chemical is used now, but the big question is, what is the impact on area neighbors, particularly if you're in that impact zone within a mile to a mile and a half of the Water Gremlin facility? On a bipartisan basis, legislators are working together with legislative proposals. One of them would establish TCE emission account to address the use of the fine. There was a fine, the largest in Minnesota history, of $4.5 million assessed for the illegal emission of the TCE, and this money is to go for looking further into what is the impact of TCE. There's still going to be private wells tested, a lot of unanswered questions. We need to better communicate with neighbors on these issues, and so we've been meeting with neighbors. There's been large community meetings. There's hearings at the Capitol, and so far so good. Legislation is moving ahead. Local neighbors have been testifying on the bill for the account for the TCE emissions that I mentioned. There's also a bill which would ban the use of TCE, and this would be in effect for 2020. It's going to probably take a few more years. We need to work with the manufacturers in other areas where presumably they have been within the guidelines for the use of a hazardous chemical, but we are working with industry and various other stakeholders, the PCA and groups, to see how we can phase this out. It has been phased out in other countries. It was set to be phased out in America just a couple of years ago, but then there was a halt. We need to regain the momentum to ban the use of TCE. So we're working on that. I also have a bill which would provide pre-settlement information to stakeholders, to neighbors, to elected officials and others, where there's a compelling state interest or a local interest to dispel rumor. And we have actually authority in state law to optionally provide this information. We're still working to get a clarification from the PCA as to why there wasn't more information pre-settlement to neighbors and others, because they just basically read about it and still have items that need to be concerned about. So the whole idea of pre-settlement disclosures is something we're working on. For this pre-settlement account, very important that we have citizens in the area serving on a group, working with the PCA. Also, the Water Gremlin would be represented there, and they should be for this information as to where this goes in the future. And hopefully the PCA will be able to work in establishing this group to oversee funds soon. We do have the bill that will put this in place. I'm reasonably confident it'll happen, but meanwhile, this structure of meeting, getting more information should occur as soon as possible. And informally it is, but there will be private wells tested, and people need to know what is the impact. So I'm very determined to do whatever I can, working in a bipartisan basis. So if you have questions on this or anything else, please let me know. My phone number at the Capitol is 651-296-6820, or my cell phone 651-770-0283. Thanks for the honor of representing you.